delay. Like put a video up that announced I was going live, and then it took forever because I was having technical difficulties. Don't I always have technical difficulties? Well, the most important part is that I'm here to talk to you about why you may be suffering with things like diabetes, hypertension, or high blood pressure, edema, neuropathy, sleep apnea, weight gain that you just can't get rid of, constant hunger cravings, chronic fatigue, and chronic pain, anxiety, depression, a number of different things. So, look, I am not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a woman who got really sick. Yes, I worked in medical clinics. Guess what? Scores of doctors couldn't figure out what was going on. And scores, I mean, I worked for several doctors. None of them could figure it out. I included a hormone doctor. And one of the doctors actually called me into her office after we ran a bunch of tests, blood work, saliva, urine, everything we could think of. And she very quietly said, I hate to give you this news, but you have the worst metabolic type that could come back, and there's nothing that I can do for you. This is coming from a very well-educated physician telling me that there's nothing that she could do. Like, you get all the just lose weight and you'll feel better. Oh, calories in, calories out. And I would just feel like I was going to pull my hair out and scream and cry at the same time, because calories in, calories out doesn't just work for everybody. Yeah, if you're eating 5,000 calories a day and you're sitting on your butt all day, there's some efficacy to that. But it's not all about that. It is more about the hormones and what else is going on in your body. So if you're dealing with that and you don't understand the hormones that are going on in your body, that are going off in your body and creating dysfunction, you're not going to be able to get better. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I talk about. And I really love when you guys ask questions. So I'm going to ask you some questions. And if any of this sounds like you, please chime in, because really I'm on here to help you guys understand this. I'm on live on a couple of different places. So welcome everybody. Look, at the bottom of most of our disease and disorder today is this thing called insulin resistance. I had to figure it out on my own because doctors were frustrated and they just weren't figuring it out. And, I get it. There's a lot. And look, if you're like me and you're suffering with all of these things, I have my list here. So, like, it was things like diabetes, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, arthritis, edema, neuropathy, all of those things. I was losing my hair, I was losing my eyesight, my teeth wouldn't quit bleeding. I had depression, brain fog, vertigo. I had muscle cramps. I had restless legs. I had all this stuff. And the doctors were like, I don't know what's going on with you. And I was frustrated and feeling like life was over. Like in my mid 50s, life shouldn't be like that. So does anybody else feel like they just have all of this stuff going on? Nobody's giving you answers. You don't understand what's happening. And you're only getting told, lose weight, you'll feel better. Go to a nutritionist, you'll feel better. Well, most nutritionists are, there's some great ones. They have some great information, but most of them are taught this thing about eat every 2 hours and the calorie restriction thing. Doctors like Dr. Hyman, Dr. Lee, Dr. Yao, Dr. Fung, and Dr. Bickman are all talking about how that's flawed. That doesn't really work. We have to pay attention to genetics. We have to pay attention to hormones in order to address even the weight. Now let's take a step back further, because when we're looking at weight, what really is going on is you're storing excess energy. Okay. So if you guys can look at fat, whether it's your adipose tissue, whether it's your visceral fat or your subcutaneous fat, so under the muscle or on top, it's energy storage. That's your energy, your body's energy storehouse. So how does it get that? Well, it has to have insulin to transport the energy to the cells, whether it's going to cells to build bones, to build muscle, to build brain tissue, to build gut tissue, to build connective tissue, to build any of that stuff. It's energy. Where do you get energy? From the food you eat. Well, the food we used to eat was slower in delivery, so that the energy wasn't just like bam to our system. It was just this nice, okay, we've got some energy, we're going to deliver it, it's going to last us all day. The food we're eating now is delivering like that, right? It's like delivering right now. So we eat this great big plate of food, small plate of food, whatever plate of food, and instead of the energy lasting for hours, it's going, bam, here you are, here's your energy, take it, let's go. And so now you have this glucose spike and you have this insulin spike, and Auntie is selling fiber early morning. Woo! Well, you know what? Auntie's got to do her job all day long and help people out. So, anyway, so that glucose is hitting your system really quickly and it's being dispersed really quickly. But in order for it to disperse really quickly or get sent out to all of the tissues in the body, you are having a spike of insulin. So now what you've done is you've woken up this hormone. Remember, I was talking about hormones? The hormone that's a primary hormone in your body. So what people need to understand is, what I would invite everyone to understand is, when that hormone of insulin is high in your body, it's taking precedence over every other hormone that you have. So if your body's like, oh, there's all this energy, I have to produce insulin, I've got to get insulin out there, then it's not paying attention to your other hormones. It can't. Your body has finite resources, guys. Your body isn't infinite in its resources. That's why we get sick. So if your body's using all of its resources for hormones to create this hormone called insulin, because we've just created this spike of glucose in our system, things like progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, DHEA, even leptin and ghrelin start to get out of whack. I just did a video yesterday on cortisol, and the link, a lot of these hormones, it links in, right? So cortisol and insulin kind of play off of each other. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But you have this hormone called insulin, and now it's out there carrying all this energy out, but it's up high because you've pushed it high, because you've eaten food that doesn't deliver the nutrients in a manageable format, right? So it's not necessarily just the food, because even if you go buy raw organic food, this can happen to you because it's been changed. It's been modified from the way it was supposed to be. So it is delivering to our system quicker than it has to be. So can we just agree, and I think most of us can, that our modern food environment, the food we eat now, is just flawed, or it's just different. It's not the same as we used to get. I mean, I'm almost 60 years old. So I remember when I grew up on a little farm in North Idaho, and my raspberries, the biggest raspberry was like the size of the tip of my pinky. Like, we were hoarding those little tiny berries. And now you go to the store, I have some raspberries in the fridge, and they're like the size of the tip of my thumb. How does it go from that to that? Well, we've taken out fibers and nutrients and phytosterols and sometimes proteins in order to get this that's full of sugar and the sweet stuff that we like. But what happens is, when you have this high spike of glucose or sugar in your system, now you're craving it. You've pushed your insulin high, and your insulin's like, okay, I need more energy. You got me out here to do a job. I want to do my job. So then you have cravings. And there's a number of reasons you have cravings, but that's one of them, right? So your insulin is really high, and now you have this gap because insulin's delivered all that glucose, and now you're hungry. And so you're like, to fill that gap, you're going to go grab a candy bar or some chips or a soda or something to give you quick energy. And then the cycle just perpetuates. Okay. So what we really need to do is slow down the delivery of that energy into our system. And what slows down the energy, does anybody know what slows down not just the conversion of glucose, but the delivery of glucose into the system before insulin ever has to take it up? Does anybody know what that magic thing is? Because it's not, I'm going to say some bad words. It's not Ozempic. It's not Trulicity. It's not Mounjaro. It's not metformin. Metformin has a little different lever than those other ones, but it's not all those drugs. Dr. Fung says you cannot fix a dietary disorder with medication. A dietary disorder needs to be addressed with dietary function, right? So what we need to do is add fiber back in. And you guys, this isn't just like Metamucil, Benefiber, psyllium husk, whatever. This is a specific blend of fibers. Every fiber in food has a different action in your body. So every fiber does different things. How can I say that? So what I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about a system where I drink a tea in the morning, which you see me drinking this. So this is my tea I drink in the morning. I have the tea and some matcha in here because I have my grandson. I'm trying to get this live done before he gets up and says, Nana, let's go do some things. And then, so I drink that in the morning. I won't eat until after lunchtime. Give your body a rest from the insulin all the time. We don't need to eat every 2 hours. You guys, that's such BS. BS, 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 bull, cracking poop. Okay? We don't need to do it. It's not doing you the work. Metamucil is 2 types of fiber. And although it may make a minor change in your blood glucose, it's not going to make a drastic change, not enough for you to take care of your A1C, high blood sugars, diabetes, insulin resistance. So the fiber that I am using, and I drink the tea in the morning, and then I drink a fiber 10 minutes before I eat, or a pre-meal drink 10 minutes before I eat anything. Look, if I have 2 meals in a day, I have 2 of them. If I have 2 meals and my grandson's over and we want to have a snack, I have another one. I don't snack often, but when I do, I just have another one. This is 7 different fibers. I also have a fiber that I use when I'm cleansing. It's 27 different types of fiber, 2 different actions in the body. The 27 different types of fiber are clearing out gunk from my system, like degreaser in your engine. This one is slowing down the delivery. This one that I drink every time before I eat is slowing down the delivery of glucose and fats into my system so that now things are more normalized and we don't have those high spikes of insulin. Not just because you don't have the high spike of insulin, but because the delivery of food is slowed down as it empties into your intestines. Now you're staying satiated longer. Food is not meant to just clear through us. It's not meant to just eat and go through, which is what it's been doing because it's been stripped of the nature's magic called fiber that helps slow it down. So did you have more questions about Metamucil? I think, look, I have some of that stuff here. And look, I never use it. I have it just to show you guys. This has it has 2 types of fiber in it, 2. It's not there. If you look up Metamucil, there's not a scientific study on Metamucil. If you go to the prescriber's digital reference and look this up, which I can do for y'all, and I would love to, there are scientific studies on this to do that so that it does what I say. And actually, because it's in the prescriber's digital reference, physicians can prescribe it. Some insurances will cover it when a physician prescribes it. I can't guarantee that yours will, but a lot of them can and do because it is in the prescriber's digital reference. It's considered prescribable and usable in that way. In fact, we have cardiologists, neurologists, oncologists, nephrologists, and endocrinologists now who are picking up the bandwagon and saying this is better than all of those drugs that are causing damage to people. So this is not just anti on here saying fiber. Doctors, now that the system has been out long enough, now doctors are starting to hop on and say, hey, this is a way better choice for people. And look, when some of those medications, you guys, are $300 a month to $1,200 a month, this is $5 a day, and it's not causing damage to your liver, your kidneys, or any of that. Why wouldn't you do it? So I'm going to pause for a second, and I'm going to show you guys where you can find it. Let's get this up over here. So if you're on TikTok, you guys just tap on my picture up here. Besides the system, there's like a PDF ebook that I've created for y'all that will help you understand how to start managing your insulin resistance, the 6 simple steps that I talk about all the time. But so if you just go to my TikTok profile and click on my picture to get there, right underneath the red lights, there's going to be a link. If you click on that link, that takes you to all of my information, and that looks a little something like this. On YouTube and Facebook, you guys just follow the prompts that are flashing across the screen. Then you'll come up here to order, but there's a full website that you can link into to get more information. There's information, the nutritional panels for the products, all of the stuff is there. That ebook that I talked about is right here, and I'm going to go over that in a second. I also have a Facebook group called Beating Insulin Resistance where we talk about these things. You guys can ask me personally about your issues and what's happening. I've started putting some recipes in there soon, but also my WhatsApp, all of that's here. But look, if you're ready to order or you're ready to check it out, you just want to click on that buy now link at the top. Hey, thank you. Then you'll want to make sure that it says Michelle Fayon at the top, because that means that I'm an authorized distributor. You're going to be able to get a hold of me. You're going to be able to talk to me. You're going to be able to get coached from me. You're going to get the 90-day guarantee, the money back guarantee, the quality guarantee, and the best price guarantee. You won't find it at a better price than here. You're not paying any more for it than I do. Then you just click on buy now. Now, when you get here, what you're going to see is that tea I was talking about in the morning. You're going to get 30 of those for a 30-day supply. You're going to get 60 of the pre-meal drink. Right now, the tea comes in lemon or lemon ginger. And guys, look, I love ginger. I really do. And I was drinking ginger in my drinks long before I started the system. But if you don't love ginger, understand that this is a ginger extract. It's going to have a nice heat of ginger in it. So then I would just choose lemon. But if you love ginger, do that lemon ginger because it's great. You can have this hot or cold. And it comes in these packets that looks a little something like this. Okay. So lemon or lemon ginger, make your choice. And then you're going to come down to the balance or the pre-meal drink. And right now we still have a very few pink lemonade left. So if you want to try that flavor, you got to do it now. And then the original flavor is orange. Again, they come in these single serving packets that fit and pour nicely into a bottle of water. So it makes it super easy, sustainable. They just drop in my purse in your wallet. You take them with you. You're not worrying about carrying around this big old jug of whatever that doesn't even work anyway. And there you go. So $5 a day. It's going to cost about $159 a month. If you do it on subscription, it's $154. So that's saving you $5. You're not paying for shipping if you put the system on subscription. So that saves you about another $10. You get this free hand mixer when you do the first month, which is amazing. It's what I use to mix up my tea every morning, and that's it. Once you purchase that, then I send you out some emails and information to get you started. You'll get a video from me on how to start it. You'll have my number so you can get a hold of me whenever you need. Hi, I'm back. And you get to talk to me as much or as little as you need. And you take the 90 days and see what it can do for your body. See how much different you feel. And then if you're not absolutely just like, this is doing something for me, you get your money back. Okay. But the goal is you get to contact me whenever you want. So there's that, you guys. And this is serious though. I do this because I was thinking about it. I was laying in bed this morning, a little side trip now. My grandson is here. He's 7. He is my heart and soul. Anybody who knows me knows he is my heart and soul. Like, we are so connected. He was here for a couple of days this weekend. He went home for a couple of days. I was supposed to see him tonight, but his mama called me and said, Nana, your boy's missing you. So he came and spent the night last night, and he's still sleeping in bed. When he gets up, I'll fix him breakfast. We'll go play some games. But laying in bed holding him, see, I got off on some sidetracks, you guys. Laying in bed holding him because I just love his little soul. And I'm thinking about all these things. And you guys, the reason I'm here is because I was so sick. And because I was so sick and wasn't getting answers and got better, that's why I'm here. So I worked in medical and had to stop because I could not. Hey, Manpreet, thank you. I had to stop because my legs were giving out, because I was having memory function problems, just so many things. And so I ended up driving for Lyft and Uber all day long. And it was a horrible existence for a 50-year-old woman, 55, 56, 57-year-old woman. And this system changed everything for me. It got rid of my cane and my walker. I just did a video where I showed those. I'll do another one, but I had a walker and a cane. I had disability plates. I couldn't go up and down stairs. I couldn't get up and down off the floor. I was no longer playing with my grandkids like I wanted. I was sitting on the couch or laying in my bed because I was in so much pain. It just hurt to move. Now I'm up every day. I'm taking walks in the woods. I play with my grandson. I do all the things that 2 years ago I thought were over in my life. So when I look at the world and I see all the people out there who are suffering like I was, who are not getting answers like I wasn't, who feel like I do, where it's just like nobody's helping. Stop telling me to lose weight to get better. Stop telling me to go to a nutritionist. Stop telling me all these things. Because if you're like me and you've done keto and you've done veganism and you've done all the things and it didn't work, it gets frustrating. So how many of you guys are frustrated? Because I was like ready to pull my hair out. But this is me before in 2021. I was 50 pounds heavier. I couldn't go up and down stairs, like I said. I was in pain. You could see I was trying to smile, but it was like one of those fakey smiles, right? Like, ooh. He reminds me, look, that little grandson of mine, oh, he's sharp as a whip. Yes, if I eat and he hasn't seen me drink this, he'll be like, Nana, you need to drink your orange drink. And it's really super cute, and he knows. He knows. In fact, I'm trying to sway him into doing some healthier things. Yeah, he's just so sharp and so funny. In fact, yeah, I'll do some stories on it. He was telling me we do once upon a time stories at bedtime. Usually I tell him a story about his life, but wrap it up as some little prince or little redheaded boy. And so last night he told me a story about his Nana. It was so cute. Good morning, Janice. But you guys, those are the things. Like, I mean, okay, so time freedom, physical freedom to just be able to enjoy my family, to be able to enjoy those moments. That just is so important to me. I was also thinking this morning, like, you know, I see people talk about cars and big houses and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I love the space I'm in. There's nothing wrong with the space I'm in. It's so much better than the hallway I lived in a year ago. But the important things to me are that I have my health, I have the time, and I have the resources to be able to be a parent and a grandparent and actually be there when they need me. That's what's important. That's why I'm here, because I know that there are so many other grandmas, because I see them every day when I leave my house. I see other women like me, and I look down and I see these swollen ankles, and I see these legs and feet full of edema, and I see these women who are trying to smile through their pain like I was, who don't even want to be in public because they're in pain. They're ashamed of the way they look. They just want to get what they got to get done, which is usually groceries or some other necessity, and get back home. And you know what's worse is now we have this system of where we just get to order our groceries in. I think that's helpful in some ways, but for some people, because I did grocery delivery for a while too, I think it's made it worse for some people because now they don't have to leave. And when you're depressed and you're anxious and you're feeling like that and your body's in pain and you have a damn walker at mid 50s and you don't want to go out like that, you order your groceries in. And then that's making things worse. So, all right, guys. What time is it? I'm surprised that that little man has not come through that door yet. But you know what? He's so good. Sometimes the other day I was on a live or I was working and I could hear voices and I thought, who's in my apartment? Who's in my place? And I walked out and it was him. He had gotten himself up, he'd gotten himself a drink, and he went and started the TV and just knew not to bother me because the door was closed and I was working. What an amazing man. Okay. Does anybody here know how much I love my grandkids? Not just him, my other three too. Okay. So you guys, we're talking about your health. I love you. Thanks for putting up with my randomness. But I just wanted to hop on this morning and share what's going on before I hop off. Can I show you guys some stories from some other people who felt like I did and have gotten better? And I'm trying to do better about sharing stories on my page because I know I don't do enough of that. I love to educate. I love to like find these things and then share it with you guys, but I know you all want to see that it happened for somebody besides Misha, right? So look at, I'm going to go back to this over here. I'm going to run through some stories. Some of these people you've seen online, and they're here for the same reason I am. It worked for them. So me, 2 years ago, me more recently, I had hypertension, hyperlipidemia, sleep apnea, heartburn, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, arthritis, leg cramps, skin tags, skin discoloration, brain fog, depression. You guys, I felt like I was falling apart. Then there's my gal, Alexis. What a beautiful soul this one is. She's had a family history of diabetes, so she did not want to end up like she was seeing her family, and she wanted to know if this worked so she could help her family. So this is the great thing, because it's all natural, because it really actually works, and because it's so simple, people are affecting their families and saving them from diabetes, kidney failure, all of that stuff. So that's Alexis. She's down from a size 14 to a size 6. This beautiful friend of mine graciously shared her photos, did not want to share her name, but this is her before and after. She still is on the system, still is losing weight, still is getting better. Diverticulitis, kidney stones, depression, anxiety, joint pain. That's a crazy, you guys, by adding a drink in the morning and a pre-meal drink before you eat, and then eating the foods you love. But it's not just about if you're obese. This is my gal, Christy, down in Boise. We've been friends for years. She's actually a physical trainer. She's now teaching some kickboxing and whatnot, but this was her before. And if you look closely at her pictures, this is off season for her, competitive bodybuilder. She was bloated. Her face was puffier. I know it's hard to see with this this perspective right now, but same time period in her training. The only difference is she was not on the Feel Great system in the left. She is on the Feel Great system in the right. Her muscle tone is better. Her fat is down. She's much leaner, even in off season when she's eating really well. So yes, and then my guy Jason, he just sent me a new picture of him. Those pants are what he used to wear. That shirt that he's wearing that says, "I'm not fat, I'm just fluffy." That shirt, you see where his belly was showing, that shirt fits him loose now. He's lost over 150 pounds. He's gotten rid of hypertension, hyperlipidemia, his sleep apnea, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, losing his eyesight, yes, men, erectile dysfunction and testosterone issues. All of that's gotten better for him. Plus his skin looks better. He just looks more vibrant. Cindy has now lost over 110 pounds. Her A1C went from 5.9 to 5.5. So she was pre-diabetic, and I'd love to talk with you guys about that if anybody wants to know how somebody can be. We're going to show you another one, because this one, when we look at Karen now, Karen has lost about 35 pounds now, but she wasn't as big, right? But her A1C was 11.5. I need to get a new number from her, because I know that her numbers are down from that now. They went from 11.5 to 6.5 at the time I made this slide. She had sleep apnea, heartburn, chronic fatigue, brain fog, and mental health problems. She's now feeling better. So let's talk about the difference between Cindy with an A1C and well over 100 pounds overweight, right? Her A1C was just kind of hitting pre-diabetic range. And Karen, who is mildly obese or was mildly obese and had a really high A1C, what's the difference? How does that happen? And why is this not all just about fat? Well, so there's a number of things happening here. And one of the things that's happening when they give you those glucagon-like peptide or GLP-1 agonists is it's forcing extra insulin into your body so that the insulin can carry and deal with the sugars in your body. But here's the thing. Is that really the problem, that you don't have enough insulin? Because you're insulin resistant because you have too much insulin. All right, so the reason there's a difference between Cindy, who is over 100 pounds and a low A1C, and Karen, who has mildly obese and a high A1C, is fat. So how many of you guys have been told that you're born with the same fat cells you have now, that you never create more fat cells, they just inflate and deflate? Well, would you be shocked to know, because I was, that that's not true? I don't know the exact number, but some of us are hypertrophic in fat and some of us are hyperplastic. So hypertrophic means it's going to grow. Hyperplastic means it's going to duplicate. So um, Karen is hypertrophic in her fat cells. Her fat cells grow, and when they get to a certain point and they're like, oh, we can't take on any more energy storage, then it starts to spill that energy back out into the bloodstream, causing high blood sugars and a high A1C, but her body weight is not as big. Cindy, on the other hand, had excess weight, but a low A1C because her body was likely creating extra fat cells, more storage places. Okay, so you're so welcome, Kiwi. So now Cindy's getting bigger, 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 but her A1C is not going up. Happened to me. Okay, I kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but my A1C was fine. My cholesterol was fine. I'm like, dude, I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Oh no, I was not. I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it wasn't until my fat cells got full enough and stopped replicating that I started having a high A1C and these problems started happening. And when it got to that tipping point, because there was so much sugar in my system and so much insulin, it started going bad rapidly. I went from, that like 5.9 like Cindy to 6.1 to 6.3 to all of a sudden I'm at 7.4 and my fasting blood glucose is in the mid 200s, 240, 260. Yikes. Yikes. So it doesn't, insulin resistance and diabetes is not all about the fat you carry. It is and it isn't. You can't just look at someone and say, they're not fat, they're not diabetic. They're not fat, they're not insulin resistant. That's untrue and it's dangerous. So I try to go over some of this information. A couple of weeks ago, I did some information on skin because our skin is like our defense system. It's our early warning system, if you will, for a lot of disorders, right? So when we look at skin tags and skin discoloration and acne and eczema and psoriasis, all of those things can be clues to the fact that you have this insulin resistance going on long before you start putting on weight, long before your kidney function starts to wane, long before your liver panel starts to get way out of whack. By the way, insulin resistance and the presence of so much fruit sugars unmediated by fiber, fruits are good for you, but they've been stripped of fibers, causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. We're seeing it in children now. I remember a time when you only heard about it with alcoholics. Yes, yes. So there is a different measurement between the US measurements and yours. Your blood sugar is 8, which is still high, right? So if we look at that calculation, it's 8 times 18. So you're about 152 on the US scale. That's still high. For your A1C, that's different, but 8 is still going to be high. And are you type 1 or type 2 diabetic, Kiwi? Do you mind telling me? Because there is a big difference. And you guys, while I'm at that, there is this young man I want to show because there's this misnomer. Type 1 diabetics can also be insulin resistant. Yeah, okay, so type 2. So I'm gonna break the internet, maybe. and tell your doctor not to hang me because this is coming from Dr. Bickman, one of the top metabolic scientists in the world. He deals with metabolism. So a lot about insulin resistance. By the way, this book is in my links, you guys, if you want to get it. I don't sell it, but it's one of the recommended books that I talk about. And it's actually where I get a lot of my information from Dr. Bickman, Dr. Fung, all of these doctors. And then I just bring it back to you guys so that you're getting the awareness of what's happening. Now, what I want to get to is when you're insulin resistant and you have excess insulin, that's how you got resistant, right? And if anybody needs me to go back and explain that, more than happy to. But when you're insulin resistant, it's a clue that you've had too much insulin for too long in your body. And that too much insulin is causing problems where some cells are not taking up the insulin or the energy So insulin is an energy transporter, right? So it's not taking up those things. So you start losing connective tissue, you start losing bone mass, you start losing muscle mass, you start having eyesight problems, you start having vascularity problems. So if you're having too much insulin in your body and that's the cause of the problem, why would they ever give you insulin to solve the problem? Think about that. Okay. So you have trigger finger. You know what? I was losing, this arm was numb all the time. And it got to the point where I was a power lifter. I was able to pull over 500 pounds off the floor, squat over 400 pounds in my 50s, right? But all of a sudden, this hand, I couldn't hold a glass of milk. We did tests, MRIs, CAT scans, and all of this stuff, and nobody could figure out what was going on. I started the system and started addressing my insulin. And when I talk about all these things, guys, I didn't start the system for those things. I started it for diabetes and to hopefully lose some weight. All of these other things started happening, and I'm like, that's what set me on this path. I was like, wow, what is going on? All I've changed is adding a drink in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat anything, and all of this stuff happened. So now, look, this mug is kind of heavy. It's over 40 ounces. I can hold that. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to hold this mug. Insulin resistance was causing, you guys, I just did, last week I was talking about nerves and whatnot. I did a video on how insulin resistance causes some misfiring of nerves. So it causes problems in and between the nerves and the cells. So there's messages are not getting through. And those spaces start to have dysfunction and die off with insulin. So the good news is, though, you guys, your body is innately intelligent. Your body is an amazing machine, and it can regenerate back from some things. Now look, you break a glass, you can glue it back together if it's just a couple of pieces. You smash the glass, good luck, right? So why I'm here is we want to take care of your body and your insulin when it's just that broken glass where we can still find the pieces and glue them back together, super glue them back together. We don't want to wait until that glass is smashed, like people having to get dialysis and all of that. Coach Hoyd, I put a video from him up a couple of weeks ago. He had stage 3 kidney disease. Again, didn't realize that this was going to improve his kidneys. Excuse me, started it for his diabetes, now has normal kidney function. Never ended up going for dialysis. My liver panels were out of control, which should have told me that I was headed towards gallstones, but I didn't. I was so focused on getting the weight off and the diabetes, but my liver panel is normal now. I take more care of my liver than I used to, because I realized that holding on to insulin resistance for so long, you guys, that's the other thing. When you have insulin resistance long term, you probably are doing a lot of damage to your liver. And when you're young, you guys all think, oh, that's not me, I'm good. Like, I deal with this with some of my family members. I have a young man in my family who has some very distinct signs of insulin resistance, and he doesn't want to deal with it because his pain point isn't high enough for him to understand. And it drives me crazy, because I'm like, you're headed for liver failure. You're headed for some of these problems if you don't take care of it now. And look, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I didn't get it either. And then I ended up losing my gallbladder. I've lost 3 joints. I've lost, like now, looking back now as a 50-something-year-old, do I want to raise the flag for 30-year-olds and say, do not let your body get to this point. Do not have to go through 3 total joint replacement surgeries, have your gallbladder removed, have all of this other stuff, worry about your liver failing, all of these things going on. Just why not take care of the insulin resistance when you're young and prolong your life and your health and all of that when you're younger? Now, those of you who are older like me, the thing is, like I was saying, your body can regenerate a lot of things. Some doctors will tell you that, some doctors won't. I had a number of doctors telling me I could regenerate my joints, if I took care of things. So I did gluten-free, I did veganism, I did all the things to try and get my body cleaned up so that I could have that joint regeneration, or at least try to, and it didn't feel like it was happening. So golden thing for me, another unexpected benefit for me, so many unexpected benefits. I've had my left knee and both hips replaced. My right knee was supposed to be replaced in 2022. We did the left knee in 2021, just before I started the system. My right knee, one half of the meniscus was almost gone. The other half was very thin. The ligaments were starting to get loose. That knee popped and clicked and hurt all the time. I couldn't get down on my knees. I could no longer squat. It was horrible. A year into the system, I realized I wasn't having pain in that knee anymore. I didn't have swelling. I could see the kneecap. I can kneel now. I'm on the ground playing with my grandson, rolling around. He loves ninjas. So that little boy comes running at me full force sometimes, and we tussle. It's just we're a very physically active family. But I couldn't have done it 2 years ago. That knee, we did another x-ray on it, and the meniscal gap in it is now normal and level. How does that happen? Well, when you have insulin resistance, you're causing inflammation in your body. That inflammation is causing problems with your joints and some of this connective tissue. When you pull the inflammation out because you've reduced the insulin levels, now your body can start to regenerate and do what it's meant to do. Crazy good stuff, right? Crazy good. So yeah, so Kiwi Guy, what I would ask you is 90 days worth seeing what can happen for you with all of these issues you're having. I have so many people who are type 2 diabetics who are off of their medications. They had me on metformin. I refused to do insulin shots. I'm no 2 years ago, I threw away 10 medications, and I have been medication free, except for the occasional Tylenol for headaches and stuff. Um, since then, I've not picked up one prescription in over 2 years, except for when I had my gallbladder removed for some pain. But yeah, so when people say, oh, it's $5 a day. When I was on 10 different medications at $10 a pop for those medications, that's already $100. Plus, I didn't have any quality of life. So to me, $5 a day, about $150 a month, is completely worth it. Not to mention the fact that I'm not eating as much. I'm not going out buying candy bars and sodas and stuff like I used to. Um, it's just crazy. I actually save money and I have more energy and better health. So, guys, I hear the boy rustling around, so that means it's time for Nana to go make his medicine and get him up for the day. I will try to come back tonight. He's with me, so we'll see how that goes. If I do come back tonight, he'll probably be sitting here and you'll get to see. He hates me putting him on camera, but it happens once in a while. Anyway, guys, get your questions together. Ask questions on my videos. Message me. You know how to get a hold of me. And I'm going to go over that one more time really quickly for those of you that missed it. If you're interested in the system I'm doing and you want more information or want to understand how to get a hold of me, just tap on my picture here on TikTok, on Facebook, YouTube. Just follow the prompts down below. And when you tap on that, there's going to be another picture come up. Just tap again, and that'll get you to my profile. Or on any of my videos, you can tap on the picture of me, and that will get you to my profile. In my profile, you're going to see these two red lights, and that is where you're going to find all of the information. So the link below that will take you to my landing page. The ordering page for it is at the very top. And then my website there again, there's some testimonials in there. There's my story in there. I haven't been in my website to update it. Sorry, I need to do that. Oh yeah, the free ebook, the Facebook group where it's just more constant, instead of stuff that flashes and is gone. And then just a bunch of links. So you can figure out how to contact me if you have questions. But if you're interested in the system, let's get you going. Just click on that top button that will take you to this page. Should say Michelle Fayant on the top. You're going to be able to choose between lemon and lemon ginger for the morning tea. You can have that hot or cold. And then you get to choose between pink lemonade and orange for the pre-meal drink. You want to drink that cold and right away because it's going to thicken up. If you leave it on subscription, by the way, when the blue line is around the box, that means that your selection is made. So monthly subscription saves you $5, but it also saves you shipping. That's about 15 bucks. Then you can cancel it at any time, and you get the free month. The first month, you get this free hand mixer. So if you have questions about any of this, you guys, I do answer. So just message me, ask me. I'd love to help you out. You know, if you're concerned, because here's the thing. When I started, I was so super skeptical. But for me, my health had just gotten to a point where I was like, I have to do something. I was sick of the medications. They were making me more sick in other ways. And working in medical, I knew that I did not want to be on medications long term. Have a couple of family members who worked for Big Pharma, knew I didn't want to be on that stuff. But I felt like if I didn't do something, my life was, for all intents and purposes, going to be over in my 60s. I have grandkids. I'm not ready for that. So I tried the system, was skeptical, thought, yeah, right, this, I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful, but in the back of my mind thinking it's not going to work. In fact, a month in, I remember talking to Rav and I said, look, I haven't lost any weight. And he was like, wait, let's talk about this. So I haven't told this story for a while. I hadn't lost weight on the scale, but I went and found some shorts that I had bought just before I started the system because I was like, by summertime, I'm going to be into these shorts. They're a size too small, but I don't care. I'm going to fit in them. How many of you guys have done that before too? No weight lost on the scale, but I went and put the shorts on and they were already starting to get too loose. I think I wore the shorts 3 times just because I forced myself to, because they were kind of cool denim shorts and I never wear denim. And then I had to give them away because they were just too big. So the weight on the scale is not always indicative of the change in your body. Beyond that, I had my mental clarity back. I had energy back. My pain levels were down. So in 30 days, I had all of those things. But it did take me about 6 weeks to lose weight. Now, from that 6 weeks on to 5 months, weight just started to come off. Okay. So 90 days. This is a natural system that's putting back what's been stripped out, that's giving you back what's missing in our modern food environment. Give it 90 days. See what can happen for you. Be skeptical. Be skeptical. Reach out to me for help. But just see what can happen for you in 90 days. If you don't make a change, change isn't going to happen. Okay? I'm going to go get that boy and I'm going to spend some time with him this morning. You guys have a beautiful day. Thanks for spending time with me. And I will see you tonight. I snuck out early, but I'll see you tonight. Have a good one, guys.